The Elgin Police Department is dedicated to working in partnership with the community to promote safety and enhance the quality of life by serving with professionalism, encouraging open communication, and embracing diversity.
Engaged.
Partnering with our citizens and involved in our community.
Progressive.
Embracing innovative strategies while maintaining proven practices.
Dedicated.
Serving with integrity and professionalism. Elgin became an incorporated city in 1854 and installed its first police marshal, George W. Renwick. Over the years, the title of the head law enforcement officer changed from marshal to chief. And although the role has expanded, one duty has remained consistent: to ensure law and order for the citizens of Elgin.
It's time now for Fridays with the Finest, featuring Elgin's current police chief, Anna Lally, on Elgin's hometown radio station since 1949, WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Hey, good morning, everybody. We are here today with Chief Anna Lally. Fridays with the Finest. We also have the Public Information Officer, PIO, Officer Hector Gutierrez, and he's going to be joining us as well. How's everyone doing today?
Good. How are you?
Couldn't be better.
Good.
Very good.
Nice day.
Okay, we're on.
You're on.
I was thinking I was like, that was not an awkward pause. That was me drinking coffee, me seeing if we're on, and we're
letting
good to
you
go.
get your sip.
Yes,
No problem.
exactly. So hello, everyone, and happy Friday. So as usual, Sergeant Hector Gutierrez is on with me today, and I usually bring him on once a month just to talk everything about upcoming events in the police department, things to be aware of. And so, I want to mention a couple things, and then we'll get into some of the details here. Tomorrow, actually, we can start talking about it now. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. is our Domestic Violence Awareness Walk. I was on the show last Friday with Joanne and the social workers, the wonderful ladies of EPD who do an amazing job advocating for domestic violence victims. We talked to it's a lot. So we've been pushing out a lot of information this week for public information, just, what to do if you are a victim, what to do if you're, you don't know what to do. And just making sure that our community knows that we are here for you and there are resources. And again, everybody kind of does their thing in their own time. And I want to make sure that, people know that we are here whenever, people are ready. Tomorrow, the walk, though, starts at 10 a.m. It is in Center City Plaza, which is between the Hemmons and City Hall. We start at 10 o'clock, just some brief words. I'll say a few things. Joanne will say a few things. Tons of community partners will be at the police station once the walk is done. The walk is generally about a mile. So, we'll go through downtown Elgin and end up back at the police station. So tomorrow, and I think the weather is supposed to be pretty decent. So it's a good day for a walk.
60s probably, so.
The best of the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're interested, if you want to come out and join us, we would be more than happy to have you. And again, if you come out, wear purple. That's kind of the theme for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, so if you are in the downtown area tomorrow and you see a bunch of people walking in purple shirts, we're going to have our domestic violence police squad leading the walk. This is a domestic violence awareness walk. So I want to make sure that people know what this event is. And that is what it is. So, if you are going to come down, wear purple, join us. It says from 10 to 1, the walk. Usually, by the time we leave there, we're back at the station by 11 o'clock. And then there's some resources and some stuff in our lobby, community partners. So it's a really nice event.
And last week you had some great people on the the one woman, I forget her first name, that heads it all up for you, and each of the officers
Joanne,
that were here. Just to reiterate, the idea is if you need to meet, they'll meet you any place. You don't have to be intimidated walking into a police station. Make the phone call is the most important thing. Make the phone call, get some assistance, and they'll meet you anywhere you want to meet.
Yeah, they and I think it's also important that domestic violence affects everyone, men, women, everyone. So I think there's also a stigma that surrounds. I think traditionally people think it's a woman who's a victim. A man can be a victim. I think it's important that we say that. It does not matter, right? The acts in itself and the things that are, considered domestic violence, it does not matter. It affects every gender, every sex, every race, everything. So making sure that people know that is very important as we promote Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The next thing, too, is we have a Halloween event coming up. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Hector?
Yes, Halloween event, Halloween Extravaganza is going to be on October 28th, and it's going to be outside the police department. This is a great event. A lot of community partners as well for this one. I mean, it gets super packed. We're expecting last year I would say probably close to 1,000 people. I think this year we're gonna be over that for sure. We do a lot of community information resources. We also do a PD tour where we take community residents inside the police department and do a tour, like a haunted tour. We say kids have a lot of fun. There's bouncy houses. There's going to be painting. There's going to be a traditional haunted house, which is
Will Douglas be shut down?
Douglas, it will be shut down. Yes, okay. It will be. Everything stays in front of the police department, and the haunted house is going to be inside the parking deck, right in front of the police department. So, October 28th, 5 to 7. So be there. If you have any questions, always reach out, give us a call. But this is a fun event for the whole family, so bring everyone.
That's right around the corner.
Yeah, and that event too, when we talk about why we do the events, and I think it's important, as things are happening throughout the world, and especially things that are going on with immigration concerns, and it's important that our engagement efforts will continue. And I think this is a way for the police department and the things that we do will continue to go forward, and making sure that we're accessible and available to our community. Making sure that we respect everybody's constitutional rights. Making sure that we're also providing information, whatever information it is that people may need. So these events are not just about having a bunch of kids in costumes and running around the police department eating candy and getting hyped up. That's not what it is. It is that to an extent, but the other side of it is that we're there to make sure that our community knows that we are open, accessible, available, answering any questions. And I think that's important, in my opinion, in times of a lot of great stressors or a lot of great uncertainty. To remain constant and steady and available, I think is and can be a comfort to people. So there have been times where, whether it was during COVID, and you had that sentiment from the community, nobody really knew what was going on. First, what was it? What's going on? What's this? And I think we just remained steadfast in our dedication to the community, which is the most important to us, to be available, to make sure that, that also people know what we can and cannot do. And also to make sure that people, we're not going to stop the things that we do. And I think to remain constant and to remain, proactive and continue, what we do, and what we do is not dictated by the political climate or the climate of what sentiments are. We are continuing to be available to our community to do a very simple thing: serve and protect. Period. Done. I mean, and that, I think it's as simple and as basic as that is what it is.
Yeah, and I think Elgin does an absolutely wonderful job of just doing what you're saying. Whatever the political climate, whatever's going on and around the city of Elgin, it's not like you don't care, but it should not affect what's going on with the residents of this community. You folks have worked very hard to make relationships with, again, every single resident that's here. You don't see a race. You see nothing. You see a person. And that's very, very important that these programs go on, even during some turmoil times that may be around us. Let's not let that affect our days.
That is correct. Yeah.
There's more positive.
Yes. I was having a conversation. It reminds me, I was having a conversation with one of the social workers and, just asking them how busy are they with clients and people getting counseling and things like that. And They're saying that they're seeing the numbers a little down a little bit, and they believe it's because of maybe the fear of immigration. So I want to remind the community residents that that should not be something that should stop you from calling the police or getting resources from the police department. This is a completely different thing, immigration and the police department. We are here to focus on safety and to provide the resources available to the community. So if you need help, if you need assistance, questions, please don't hesitate to call the police department, our social services group. We're here for you, and we're happy to help.
And that, the community events too, like even during COVID, we found a way to do some community events, right? I remember us doing parades through neighborhoods where
Truck or treat. I think
yes,
was
we
started
did that
way.
too. So I think it's just
birthday
being
parades.
the birthday
Yeah.
parades, all this stuff. And I think that is just, in my opinion, you can tell your community that you're there for them. You could say that we're dedicated. You could say all these things, but I always come from the lens and the perspective of if somebody were to ask me what do you actually do? These are the things that we do. So our events that we continue to have, we have worked, in my opinion, very, very hard. I have been at the department, it'll be 30 years in March. And so I have seen the department through many different phases and many different things. And I can tell you there's a feeling, there's a buzz, there's a lot of great things happening. And that's because of the work that has been done for a very long time. And in particular during very stressful, times where people are in conflict. And I think, those relationships that we've worked really hard to build during some very difficult times and very difficult topics, it's very important to me that remains. And part of that is our dedication and commitment to the community, regardless of, we police, and I say this all the time, we police a community of very different people on very different religious, political, socioeconomic, all these different spectrums. And it is our duty and our responsibility to ensure that everyone feels comfortable, safe, has an environment to express whatever it is that they feel like expressing, and that they know that they have true professionals that are dedicated to the community. That is first and foremost the most important thing to me. Period. Done. Serve and protect. And how that looks. And when you say, it's, we care to, you have to care what's going on. Not just in your community, but I think this is, globally, nationally, locally, what are the things that are important and what are the things that matter? And so, you can't be in this little bubble of this is just Elgin. It's very nice sometimes to be in the bubble when things are, but that's not how, that's not how I operate. I'm very aware of the national conversation, the global conversation, the things that are going on. How does that impact us here in Elgin? What are the things that we need to do as an agency? It may affect us very little, but then there are some things where, you have to be very mindful about what, to Hector's point, if I'm a person that's hesitant to contact the police because of fear of, something, what can we do to ensure that fear is not there? We can never 100%, but I think making sure in a community event where we've done it for many years, and I think the dividends pay off now where you establish these relationships. Because if you're trying to do community events now, during all this stuff, if we were trying to do community events during police reform time, if we were trying to do all that, a lot of times too, it comes off disgenuine. After the police reform and everything that happened, that time frame in 2020, 21, and even into 22, if we all of a sudden started to do all these community events, people would be, I would be skeptical, and I would say this appears to be very disgenuine. We had built that relationship for many, many years, and we had just continued to build on it and continued to make that a priority where when we did hold an event, and even when we hold an event today, people say, oh yeah, no, they've done this before, right? There's no trick here. There's no, this is truly what they're trying to do. So I would really definitely say that, it's important that we remained, committed to each other as humans, optimistic in what will happen, and continue to build those bridges and those gaps.
And said it many a time, morals aren't taught, they're caught. So you're a bottom-up management style to where you give the resources, information, whatever it has to be to your management team, and they disseminate. You have 114,000, actually almost, it's like 115,000 residents in the city of Elgin. That's a lot of people. And to be able to reach the amount of folks that you do reach, I think it's commendable. Seriously, and I'm not just. I say this like, oh, what is this guy in the pocket of the police?
No. I've never met Dean before the radio show.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I don't live in this town,
No.
but when I view what they do, fire department too, we just had Chief Rob Sagan
Yeah.
on here. Every one of the departments come on here. This is what it is. It's open book.
Yes.
There's no, it's really, everybody talks about transparency. If you don't see transparency in this department, you're never going to see it. And the size of this department, 6th largest city, state of
And you
Illinois.
can't also, you can't, Hector, and I will tell you, I truly appreciate Hector in a whole host of ways, but, especially with our Latin community. And Hector, I don't speak Spanish. So, if I need to, if we need to affect in a message, or if we need to get something out, Hector is that bridge for me sometimes too. He works in the administrative office. I'll just routinely go to his office and be like, or people are calling him directly. I'm not offended by that. I absolutely love that, because it's like, if you have made these connections in the community, this is when it's more important. There's probably people calling officers, right, and asking questions. And that's why we empower the officers to have the right information, and that they know what the philosophy of the organization is, which there's, every single officer in there does know that, because I say it, right? I say it. I believe it. This is what we do. We show it. And so I think empowering people with the information, you don't have to agree, right? We can agree to disagree, but misinformation and disinformation, in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous things.
Yeah.
Not agreeing just because of, not agreeing, but knowing what you're not agreeing about, you have all the information. That's just what makes the world go around. But, having Hector as a resource, to our Latin community, to the Hispanic community, to be able to say, hey, this is, just today I showed him something. I don't read Spanish. Now I can kind of make my way through it, right? And yes, I could use some, Chat GPT, which is my favorite, and that's a joke. But, I'll just say, Hector, like, what's the sentiment here? What do we need to be doing here? What's the feedback? What's going on?
And culturally,
yes.
just because it's written in Spanish, that's ink. It's just like a text message.
Yes.
Right.
Hector, you're able to relate it to what is really being said
Yes.
because of your
Yes,
background.
because of who he is. And I
Yeah,
think that's
exactly.
important, where, those type of relationships, I'm not Hispanic, right? I'm half Armenian, half Ukrainian. So if there's someone that, that's different. That's my culture, right? Like,
But on
that's-
Monday, you're all Italian.
Yeah, there you go. So, but, I think that's important that, Hector has established those relationships in the community, and many other officers have too.
Yes.
But, people have seen Hector for such a long time, and they trust him. And so that's where, to me, the work, and that's where all these things that we go through, this is when it matters. Because now, Hector may have to say, hey, look, we cannot do this. So I don't want, misinformation out there, but this is what we can do. So, he is absolutely, if anyone has any questions, he's awesome. Ask him, call me, call the station, whatever the case may be. But okay, so what else is going on, Hector?
We have the 18th of October, the Breast Cancer Awareness Walk. So we partnered up with a few community members or organizations to bring the 6th annual Breast Cancer Awareness Walk. That's going to start at 11 a.m. It's a Saturday on the 18th, and it's going to start at Festival Park. So it goes from 11 a.m. to 12.
Yeah, so that's a quick walk too. We've partnered with Marcus Banner, who is part of I think it's still one organization.
Yes.
He's been doing this for 6 years, and so we have our breast cancer awareness squad that shows up. A lot of people have signed it, and again, it's this very visual representation. Just like tomorrow morning when we're all out wearing purple, everyone will be wearing pink, right? And so, you go out there and it's this very visual support. I think that's the other thing too. When people are going through, think of everything that's happening in the world, right? Like everything.
Did you say October 18th or 19th?
October 18th.
Yeah. So
That says 19th.
Yeah. If you is that from our web page?
Yes.
From our Facebook page.
yes. So we're going to change that, because I know
No, that's the.
that's
yeah,
the,
we're gonna.
that's the dinner.
That's the dinner. The dinner. So there's a walk that starts at 11 a.m. on the 18th, a Saturday, and then the dinner, it's on the 19th. The dinner is gonna go from 5 until 7 p.m. and that's by reservation only.
Very good.
Yeah, and I think that walk to and partnering with this organization. So it's on the bottom of that flyer. They're one organization. This is, again, as I was saying, people are going through a lot of different things in their life, right? And I think a lot of times, that stress that comes from if you're not well and you're going through treatment or your loved one is, that is absolutely taxing, draining, worrisome, all of these different things. And then on top of it, everything else that's going on. So sometimes people
Triggers. It could be a trigger for some
yes,
people.
and some people are just like in their like nobody's caring about anything else except my loved one is in treatment. I need to be there. They're not worrying about anything else, right? Everybody's lens that they view the world in is very different. And I think to be mindful of that and to say, how can I be there for people and show up the right way? And to me, it's doing things like this. And so, I think Marcus has done an amazing job, him and his partners, everyone. A lot of people show up. The officers are there. They sign the squad. The squad, the names are on it. These are people who have breast cancer survivors. These are people who are that they have family members, friends, loved ones, and they're just there to support. And so, people, sometimes you have to take a pause and say how fortunate that you are in your life sometimes, and then realize, there's some things that could be a lot better, but sometimes things, are not as awful as I think people, because think about if you were facing an illness that, is life-threatening, and I couldn't even imagine, so I think for us to be able to support, to be there, to do whatever that we can do to help, that is, that's a privilege for us to be able to do that. And so thank you to that organization. What else we have, Hector?
So
what else?
We just concluded the, I believe it's the 6th or maybe 5th. I wrote it down here. It's started by Detective Benavides, the Safe Together Academy, Police Academy. So the Safe Together Police Academy, it's for individuals with disabilities and also for their caregivers. It gives them an opportunity to learn about the police department. They have to be 16 years of age or older to register, and they have to live in the city of Elgin. So he just finished last week the one of the academies, and I believe there's 2 more still coming up. So if you are interested, if
And
you
what's
know
the name of
somebody-
that one?
It's called Safe Together Police Academy.
Safe Together. Got it.
Yeah, and this was a program started by Officer Chad Benavides, who's a detective, Chad Benavides, who's one of our detectives in our CCSU unit, and really focusing on those in our community with special needs and providing almost a mini police academy.
Right.
So again, it's like finding ways to connect with everyone within our community and giving the information and letting them get that information. So that's thank you to him for doing that. It's he does an amazing job. And then I also want to mention too, before I forget, we have a couple minutes here. So our podcast, Somebody Knows Something. I think we're out to episode
Episode
6.
6.
Yes.
Episode 6. It should be posted later on today, and but it's available already on Spotify or whatever listening.
Still at the top, just so you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right,
I've
great.
had a lot of people. So my person in my family, they were asking me, hey, the podcast, I haven't caught up to it. I'm 6 episodes behind. I mean, I get asked all the time, community members, family members, people just like this, the detectives are working on 7 different cases that they focused on. So I want to let the community know, the podcast, what you're hearing, these are summaries of these cases, but in the background, they're doing a lot of work. And so I think, I'm probably going to ask Andrew and Chris to come on the show probably in the next couple weeks, just to give an update and status on some of these cases, because I think it's a lot. Also, we revealed our kiosk in our lobby. You can come into our lobby. It's we did that. There are 2 things. One, it's like a memorial wall to the Karen Sheepers family and to Karen Sheepers that kind of summarize that case. It's a living wall, a memorial to that time, that period in time. Because 10 years from now, no one's going to remember these 2 weeks in March and April when the Elgin Police Department found solved a 42-year cold case. I mean, it will be a memory. But I think solidifying that memory in a very visual representation and display for not only the community, but more importantly, for the family to be able to show that to their, future family members and their friends. And that kiosk, then it's an interactive kiosk. You can find out about our homicide victims, our cold cases, our missing people, find out about the detectives, and there's right there, if you're watching on Facebook, there's this wall that just kind of does this whole summary, very nicely packaged. I mean, that 6 or 7 paragraphs packaged a nice,
tells the whole story.
months and months and months
Yeah.
and everything. And,
Hours
of
detective work.
Yes.
There was a couple articles already written about the kiosk.
Yeah.
Chicago Tribune and I think Career News might have run an article about it. I believe the city is also working on putting something out as a press release.
And we are trying to schedule it with the
Yes.
detectives where it's a convenient time.
Yes.
But you have packed by putting so many cold cases at one time. I don't know how they're finding time to even make the recordings. And we've been doing them here.
Yeah,
but
you
it's-
guys have been great.
you know,
We appreciate your partnership,
Well,
and
it's
it
our
is
privilege
It's still
to be a part of it.
So we're still on the top podcast. Is that ratings?
Yeah.
And
That's good to know.
obviously the community, I was talking to or emailing Andrew Houghton, and he says that, there's tons of, or not tons, but like over 50 tips of residents
Isn't that great?
they call in and provide information.
And when they come on live, it's a little bit nicer too, because we'll let the people know when the show's going to air when we have the detectives in studio, and that just who knows what's going to come out of there.
Yeah, I think it's important too that those and again, this just it comes full circle. The making sure that we're accessible and available to the community, and people being or feeling that it's a genuine care. People will come and they will give information, and
Yes.
and it's that one thing that may solve the case. And I think that one piece of information that's just sitting out there in the world right now, right? That's just sitting there doing nothing. That's the thing that could give a sense of peace to a family, a sense of closure to the family. And I will never be able to, like in my entire career, I will tell you that couple of weeks when we were just hyper focused on solving that case and being out there, it was a different energy in the police department. It was just this I think it really showed a lot of the young officers, why we do what we do.
This is real.
This is real.
This is
I
not
think
cops
it showed,
and robbers.
Yes.
This is legit police work,
Yes, I think
right?
some of the officers who are in their mid-career, or maybe towards the end of their career, maybe this reinvigorated their desire and a reminder of why they got into this profession, right? And it's just this buzz that I think that we've just been, following, and it's going to propel the department into, I think, a very different, and you can see it. And so the future is absolutely bright at the Elgin Police Department. There's great men and women who are just, they think they're smart. They're,
Is the department still hiring?
no. So we are. So I will tell you this, and I've said this for many years. We are probably on lockdown for a while here. So I mean, there was a couple of years where we were hiring. About 60% of our department has 10 years of less, and about 49% 5 years or less. We will be on the department that you see today, minus maybe plus or minus 10 people. This is your Elgin Police Department for the next 20 years. And
Great.
so that's why it was always important to me that we get the right people in, one, and, very simple, good heads, good hearts. That's my hiring philosophy. And two, this next generation of supervisors that are coming up, and Hector is one of them, right? This next future generation of people who will be in a command staff. You have to get the right people, because this is not as easy as I think sometimes people think. And to make sure that the things that we have worked very hard as an organization continues. And
Yeah,
you've gotta
because
get the right
you're not
people.
replacing.
No.
Because there's no one that could be replaced.
Nope, you can't.
You can't replace the work
No.
that someone's done. But the idea is to disseminate and share the information of what a seasoned officer has. And Officer Gutierrez, how long are you here
13
now?
years.
13 years.
He's got another
You look
40,
at you, you look
42
like
years
yeah,
left.
maybe you
Another
just
30
got it.
years
Yeah, well, as you get older, the officers
Oh,
keep
I
looking
know.
younger.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
So-
I mean, I just
good
had
genes, though.
I had somebody ask me, they're like, I can't believe I've seen some of the officers and they look like they're kids. I'm like, well, they are 21, but yes, they do look young, but nonetheless, they have a lot of responsibility. So with that, I hope everyone has a safe weekend. Please come and join us tomorrow if you can for the domestic Domestic Violence Awareness Walk. Wear purple. Let's support our community. And I hope everyone just is able to take a nice, deep, collective breath this weekend and just kind of, take it easy.
Chief, thank you once again for being
Thank
here
you.
today.
Thank you.
Officer Gutierrez, it's always a pleasure to have you in here. Anything you ever need communicated, we're here for everyone.
Appreciate it.
You've been listening to Fridays with the Finest, Chief Anna Lally, and we'll be back after a few short messages.